wasted time. Should have been here on the outside, read the signs. Used to call you mine. Gave it my best, but I don't need one more try.
Happy Q3, everybody. We are already into it. It is July 2nd, so it is the third day of Q3. And after an epic road trip, we were on the road for 23 days. We have just barely gotten back in time to prep for Q3. And so I am both planning and prepping. I'm cleaning. I'm trying to get my head back in the right space, the house in order, kind of like spring cleaning, except summer cleaning, and just kind of getting back into the swing of routine. Some nights on our vacation, we stayed up until midnight with the kids and wouldn't get up until like 8 a.m. So it is definitely an adjustment because now the kids are home for the rest of the summer, but I'm still working full time. So we are trying to find that balance, but I am so excited for Q3. Right now, I've been working on basically just cleaning up my spaces. Whenever we go on vacation, I always have the best of intentions. Like, I'm going to get this whole place totally cleaned up so that we come home to a beautiful, like, uncluttered home. And then inevitably, because I am a procrastinator at heart, everything gets pushed to the last minute. There's clothes everywhere. There's like recording videos really fast and just throwing things on the floor. And, you know, I am always on a journey to be better, but I'm not perfect. And so you guys get to see me, flaws and all. But I am looking forward to, in Q3, slowing down just a little bit on certain things, refocusing on the things that are most important to me, and keeping the house a little bit cleaner. I feel like that always goes on my goal list, but I'm feeling even more, I guess, called to declutter and get rid of things that I'm not really using or that don't serve a purpose in the house, and buy less stuff and just kind of make the space a little bit nicer for everybody. So I am working on that as we go. But so far, I have only set my goals and written a rough list of what I'm going to be working on in Q3. I've got some travel coming up. So I'm going to Phoenix, Arizona in July. I will fly in on July 16th. And so if you are in the Phoenix area, if you met up with me last time, or if you didn't get a chance, we are going to plan a meetup on the 16th. So if you want to join us, send me an email, sarah@heartbreathings.com, and I will send you some info and let you know where we're going to be meeting up on the 16th. Probably for lunch, I think, for a couple of hours. If you want to come join in, I would love to see you there. And then I am going to Australia. I'm so excited about this. I am one of the featured VIP speakers at RW Australia, and it just still feels like this cannot be real. So if you are in Australia or New Zealand, in the area, and you are able to attend the Writer Wonderland conference from Romance Writers of Australia, I'm doing an all-day workshop. This will be only my second true all-day workshop. It's going to be transformational. We're going to transform your productivity, your marketing, your balance. It's going to be so much fun. So come join us. I will leave a link to the sign up down below. I'm also going to be doing potentially some meetups in Sydney as well as Hobart, where the conference is. And then I'm going to be visiting Melbourne. So if you're in any of those areas and want to get together, send me an email because I would love to see you. But for now, we are resetting, and this is going to be potentially a multi-day reset. I have already been cleaning up. I've already been writing. It is the Rough Draft Challenge, and I have set a pretty big goal for myself. So we're going to talk all about those things as well as the planners that I'm using. And let me take a breath and let me keep cleaning up this office.
What a wasted time. Should have been here on the outside, read the signs. Used to call you mine. Gave it my best, but I don't need one more try. 'Cause, baby, I'm all out of hope. Could I find it when I go? Think we're only here to stay alive now. Funny, we ran out of kicks. Now you only make me sick. Think we're only here to stay alive now. 'Cause I know what a waste, what a crime, what a time, and I should go. So
So it's not absolutely perfect, and I still need to run the Roomba in here, but it is so much better now. I do want to refill these little Erin Condren containers with some pens from the other room, and I'm going to put some notebooks that are currently in use over here. But otherwise, I'm feeling pretty good about how this room looks. And so now it's time to focus on resetting my goals and my Kanban board. So how am I shifting things? How am I changing things around in Q3? So for one, I am yet again still kind of reducing the number of hours that I'm going to work. I have some travel, like I said, coming up. So I want to make sure that I have time on either side of that for recovery. Our kids are still home for the rest of July, so I want to spend as much time and be as present with them as I can. So I started thinking, how do I want to arrange my goals? Because I want to continue to foster and nurture my creativity. I want to continue to set up systems. Like, I lost my full-time assistant, Renee, in February. I loved her, and it was hard to see her go for sure. And I have been trying to continue to build up a team. I hired a project manager. I had help for various other things, and none of those have really worked out. So I am still kind of struggling to get support in certain places. And so this is the quarter where I'm hoping to kind of build that team back up, and I want to continue writing. This I want so badly. I have so many stories that I'm excited to write, and it just feels like years really since I was in my shadow world. And so I'm going to continue to write here in July for the Rough Draft Challenge, which is going on for the whole month if you want to join us. And I've got another video about that I'll link for you down below. I'm setting a huge goal to write 75,000 words. Now, I will need to write about 2.5 hours a day. And day one was yesterday, and I did write 3,000 words yesterday. So I'm hoping that I can keep that up tonight. I'm going to be writing with friends. I'm going to be showing up to a lot of our Heart Breathings writing community sprints. Double Down Day is coming up this weekend. We have a virtual writing retreat in the middle of the month. So there's a lot of opportunities to get that writing in. But I also know that's going to be a huge stretch. So I'm just setting the goal really high, but I'll be really happy if I end up with even 30,000 words this month, if that makes sense. I'm not going to beat myself up for not getting 75, but I'm also just going to set that goal because that's what felt fun for me right now. So I'm going to try to this quarter set 3 goals that are a little different from the way I've done it before. So previously it was always this goal, like goal number 1 is for my writing and marketing for Sarra Cannon. Bucket number 2 is for Heart Breathings, and I've kept those things separate. This quarter, I'm going to be combining things in a new way. And in my first goal, it's going to be all about my creativity. So it's going to be about nurturing my creativity, reading, writing, creating videos, working on courses, like all of the creative side of content creation. So, you know, the social media and the YouTube and the things that feel creative to me. The second goal will be an income goal and a followers goal that will be both for Sarra Cannon books and for Heart Breathings courses and things like that. So that way, instead of separating my brands, I'm separating my purposes. So I have my creativity over here that isn't going to be tied to income or any kind of output in terms of a result that I can't control. Instead, that's going to be about nurturing my creativity, creating things that make me feel good. Then the second goal is going to be the business goal. Like, okay, how do I sustainably make money and continue to write full time and let this be my full-time life and support my family? Then the third goal is going to be all about systems and processes. I want to build systems, and this isn't just for my business, this is for our home too. So cleaning, finances, car maintenance, systems when it comes to uploading a YouTube video, the processes that go into resetting my courses, like all of those sorts of things. And I'm going to be bringing on help to help me get those systems optimized and prioritized. So that's kind of how I'm splitting things up. And I wrote the goals down in my journal that I took with me traveling. So I don't even have that in this room right now. But I did take the time the other day to set up my brand new Q3 planner. So I like to set up a custom planner for each quarter. And lately I've been doing that coiled into an Erin Condren with my HB90 pages. So I'll be showing you guys a little bit of a walkthrough on that when we get to my mid-year planner lineup, which will be coming soon. I'm just waiting on one thing from Erin Condren, and then I will do that full video for you. But this one is a coiled Franken planner mashup between notes pages, the new Erin Condren dashboard layout, and my HB90 pages for July, August, and September. So that is this planner. Then here I have my Q3 goals and everything. So I've set my goals, I've determined some of my projects, but I still need to sit down and make my sticky notes, reset the board, and do all of that. I know that many of you have been curious, like, what did we do on vacation? Where did we go? I didn't actually really record a lot. I shared some things with my Broken Chapter Society, which is my membership on my Sarra Cannon YouTube channel. But for the most part, I was just fully present with my family. And that's really what my soul needed. I don't think I've ever been just as in the moment as I was. And I really needed that. Just like rest from thinking about the future and strategy and all those things. So we drove several thousand miles. Just as a quick like overview as to what we did. We went to Baton Rouge and sat on the Mississippi River. We drove to Orange Beach, Alabama, and spent some time right on the beach. It's like sugar white sand. The weather was perfect. We did an amazing dolphin cruise. Like, we had so much fun. Then we went to a Montgomery Biscuits game because we're all baseball fans and my son is a baseball fan, and he had got his name on the big Jumbotron, and they gave him a ball and said like he got one of the game balls, like happy birthday, Andrew. And then the next day he turned 13 and we arrived in Atlanta. I got to see my sister and her new wife. I say new wife, but my sister and Gina have been together for 9 years, and they just officially got married in June. So I got to see them and their kids, and we had the best time. We went to see a Braves game and we just hugged and loved on each other. It has been way too long. So that was really fun. We stayed in a really beautiful resort in Atlanta. We got to go to the aquarium. We got to see the Olympic Park, and we got to swim in a rooftop pool. Then we went from Atlanta to Burlington, North Carolina, where George's family lives. And we got to visit with his father in the nursing home. We got to see his mom. We didn't get to see his half sister, and I didn't get to see my friends like Jen and Rhiannon, but maybe next time we will get a chance to stay a little bit longer. Then we left from North Carolina to Tennessee, and we went to the Smoky Mountains. We just barely, like 2 minutes, missed a landslide that took out part of the road. So thank God for that. We ended up on a 5-hour detour. So that trip that was supposed to take, I think, 4 or 5 hours ended up taking more like 9 hours. But we got detoured through the Smoky Mountains, and it was absolutely beautiful. And we got to see so much nature. We got to see the name of the Smoky Mountains with the smoky fog coming down the road. It was magical. And then we spent several days in the mountains and just really enjoying a mountain cabin. We went from there to Nashville, where I got to walk through my alma mater of Vanderbilt University. I haven't been back there in a very long time, so it was just really cool to go back and revisit those memories and go to my favorite restaurants in the area and just walk around and enjoy and show that to the kids. Then we went to Memphis for a night and we saw the marching of the ducks at the Peabody Hotel. And then we went on to Hot Springs, Arkansas, which, if you have never been to Arkansas, put it on your list as a beautiful nature destination because it was beautiful. We stayed on Lake Hamilton and we went quartz mining, and we just spent time outside. It was hot as Hades, but it was so incredibly beautiful. And we spent time touching the hot springs and walking around downtown, where they still have mineral baths that have been around since the 1800s. Just a total adventure. And then from Hot Springs, we drove back to Texas. So overall, it was like a big loop of the country to the East Coast and back. And it was several thousand miles. We had everything from getting to hold alligators to mining gemstones to swimming in a rooftop pool. Like, we just had so much fun. We saw 4 or 5 baseball games. We sweat a mountain of sweat in all the heat. And we just had the best time as a family. Lots of laughter and fun and joy. And I just feel super rejuvenated. So now that I'm home, I'm excited to get going on these goals to get this house. Like, I think sometimes traveling, which I know we're so blessed to be able to do that. It's like one of the best things about being a full-time author is the ability to pick up and go and to have adventures and get out of the house, and you can work from anywhere. So that has been really nice. And I'm super grateful every moment. But I think too, that being away from your home, when you get back, it's just like, oh my gosh, the gratitude of this beautiful place and this home that we have. And like that first night sleeping in your bed and getting to kiss your babies in their own bedrooms. Like, it just has left me with more determination than ever to truly make this our sanctuary and our home and our place of rest and joy, and bring that feeling of travel to the everyday life as much as we can here. So anyway, with all that being said, I'm going to take Evie to gymnastics, and then I will be back later to set up all of my sticky notes. But I'm going to go ahead and pull these off the board, and then I'll reset the board later this afternoon. So since we were just talking about burnout, I have to say that, I'm somebody who I feel like I'm pretty aware of how I feel when I'm starting to feel low or when I'm starting to feel low energy, but I still got into trouble last year. I think it was probably the push to finish Vanessa Shaw. Like, I hit October, which is the busiest time of year because we have Preptober and my Spooktacular with my fans. We've got the NaNoWriMo usually coming up, and I was shifting to running my own event. There was a lot of stuff. Plus, I did a lot of speaking engagements in 2024, and I just did too much. And eventually my health really suffered for it. So starting in November, I ended up with pneumonia and several other illnesses and things that we won't even go into. But I started the year thinking, okay, let's get that fresh start energy going again. I'm going to force myself. And I feel like for the first 3 to 6 months of 2025, I was trying to constantly be like, okay, I'm going to rest and then let's go. I'm ready. And I just wasn't able to get that energy up. So that suddenly was a clue, like, oh my gosh, you are approaching burnout, because when you can't even force yourself to do something, even though you enjoy it, there's a problem. And so I had to take a little bit of a rest and reset in Q2. So I don't even think I did a Q2 reset video, but my goals for Q2 were very different than my goals for Q1. And my main goal was just recover from burnout, take a little bit of a rest, post less on social media, worry less about like how much money I'm making or how many videos I'm making or just any of that, because I knew that I needed a bit of a rest. And then of course I knew that throughout most of the month of June, we were going to be taking a trip with my family. So it was really about being present with my family, healing and recovering. And I have to say it really worked because I'm feeling back to my old self. And in fact, better than my old self, I think, because I have learned so much over the last 3 months. But it was not my most productive quarter when it comes to output, but it was one of my most productive quarters when it comes to rest and joy. So that counts for something, don't forget. So let's go over the goals and kind of what I accomplished. So goal number 1, which is usually related to my writing, is this purple goal over here. And if you're new to this channel, the way that I set goals through my HB90 system is I basically will set 3 major goals, which tend to be kind of like buckets. So my writing career, my Heart Breathings course and YouTube career, and then like admin stuff or personal life. And so those tend to be my 3 buckets. I am going to be shifting that a little bit here in Q3, and I'll tell you how in just a minute, but those tend to be the buckets. So I set an umbrella goal, which is usually some kind of outcome, like the amount of money I want to make, the amount of followers I want to get, some kind of measurable outcome. And then I determine, based on the time and energy I have available for the upcoming quarter, what are the projects that I can take on that will help me get to those goals and achieve those goals. So then I break those projects down into small tasks, like the coffee chats that I want to do, meetings that I want to have, publishing audiobooks, things like that, or over here, YouTube videos or affiliate payments or, things like that. So every little task gets a sticky note. But in Q2, like I said, I knew I didn't want to set an income or kind of an outcome goal. So instead, I set more of, just a rest goal. So this first goal was just to focus my creative energy on building momentum and visibility that fuels steady income growth and long-term success. So really, I wanted to focus on getting my creative energy back and focus on building momentum and excitement. Now, originally, I thought that would mean finishing the Shadow Games book 1 and writing the Shadow Games book 2, which is this over here, and reading the Shadow Games books on YouTube. That did not happen. I finished about halfway through A Mirror of Shadows, which I actually restarted the book yesterday. So a lot of this work really ended up just being coffee chats, showing up for my audience, and doing some admin work. I published a couple audiobooks, but I didn't really get all the writing done. Now, I did show up for my story. I did a ton of world building. I did a lot of reading, but I just didn't get as much written. I restarted the book 3 or 4 times. So even though I wrote words, it wasn't things that I could pull off the sticky notes and move down to the done section. So the way I do this is I put all of my to-do list for the quarter at the top. And then as I'm doing it, I move it down to the middle. And then once it's finished, it goes to the bottom. A traditional Kanban board will go left to right. So you would go to do, doing, and done. But I just always do it top to bottom because it's the way I like it. My second goal was to show up consistently and authentically to expand my reach, deepen my impact, and grow my aligned income. And basically what that translated into was I want to show up authentically, not because I was forcing myself to show up, but because this is what I felt like I had the energy to do. So I did get 9 YouTube videos up. I worked on some Publish and Thrive things. This actually all got done. I actually did a lot of work on a Kickstarter for July that was supposed to be launching next week. That ended up getting canceled, which was really, really disappointing, but the product just wasn't going to be up to standard and I just had to let it go. So that was a big part of this quarter. Social media, Instagram course that I took, Double Down Day, Heart Breathing's writing community stuff. That was really where I focused. The things that didn't get done were I didn't get as many YouTube videos up as I thought. I am probably going to be moving to a new course platform next year. So I was going to start that process and I didn't get to it. And then I have some other updates for Publish and Thrive that will go over to this quarter. My third goal was just to show up for myself daily with intention and love, prioritizing my mental and physical health so I can feel confident, clear, and joyful. So as you notice, this is very different from my typical goals. If you were to go back and look at, several years ago, recent videos, you would notice it's like income goals, how much I'm going to make on Etsy, how much I'm going to make in courses, how much I'm going to increase my Instagram followers. And I set no goals like that for Q2 because I just didn't need the pressure. So this is just going to be a reminder that, even when you're doing your best to take care of your mental health, there are still going to be seasons where you're tired and you don't feel like following through. You don't have the ability to be like the best version of yourself that you can be. The best version of yourself in this moment doesn't look like it looked a year ago. It's, I need rest. I need recovery. I need joy. I need just expansive periods of time where I'm not having to do something, or I need to just take the pressure off my shoulders. And that's exactly how I felt. And I'm happy with that. Now, part of the reason that feels stressful is because when you take a break and you take a rest, there's a fear that you're going to lose momentum. Like, what if I lose followers? What if people, when I come back, like I hardly posted on Instagram at all in Q2. So when I come back, is everybody going to be gone? Will people have abandoned me? Will everyone have forgotten about me? Will people be tired of me? And our brains can kind of convince us. Plus, there are truths about algorithms and the way they work that, when you have been gone for a month and a half on an account, it can be harder to reboot it. But in the end, the loss of a little bit of momentum compared to pushing through when you really aren't showing up as your best self and people can really sense that you're tired, you're burnt out, you're not bringing the right energy, you're complaining a lot, like whatever it may be, that is going to hurt you worse in the long term than taking a rest and losing a little bit of algorithmic juice and having to rebuild. Because now that I'm back, I made a post and it seemed to get normal views. Like I think that fear wasn't entirely founded. And, I feel better and I'm going to show up with better energy. So that should add to better momentum, hopefully in the long run. Hopefully I'm explaining that right. But basically what I'm essentially saying is if you need a break and you are afraid that taking a break will decrease your income, decrease your momentum, you'll lose some of the things that you've built. The truth is that you will benefit more from taking the break and coming back with full energy than you will from pushing yourself to worse health and worse health and worse health. Trust me on this. So goal number 3 was mostly things like gaming, reading, listening to podcasts, doing some memory keeping, exercising, losing a little bit of weight. So I lost 6 pounds. I read 5 books. I worked on course stuff, and that was basically the goal. So in terms of output, I still feel like I had a successful quarter, but I didn't finish a book. I didn't run a new course. I took a break from HB90. I was really, really intentionally restful.
We won't be the same. Don't you call me up, 'cause we badly need this change. Maybe I'm all out of hope. Could I find it when I go? Think we're only here to stay alive now. Funny, we ran out of kicks. Now you only make me sick. Think we're only here to stay alive now. 'Cause I know what a waste, what a crime, what a time, and I should go. So I take what I can and I toss it in the car, drive away.
Okay, so here's my pile of tasks that were completed, and now the board is totally fresh and ready for a fresh start. And here's the lesson. When you plan quarterly, 90 days at a time or a month at a time, but you plan incrementally instead of like a whole year or 5-year plan, you get a chance to start over. Every 3 months, you say, okay, that didn't go the way that I planned. I didn't get as much done. I didn't see the results. I needed rest, whatever it may be, but you get that fresh start, and you can claim that fresh start, not in a way that makes you have to say, okay, now I have to be my best self every day, but plan in a way that says, here's what I'm capable of over the next 3 months. And I'm excited for the work I'm going to put into it. And it feels really good. Okay, it's Tuesday, July 8th, which means we are a full week and a half into the quarter, and I am still struggling to get back on track. So every single day I am making progress, and I am going to celebrate that. But I have finished my sticky notes, and I have set up all my planners. I have just recorded my planner lineup, and I'm ready to set this up and get done. But I also wanted to show you, before I set up my actual Kanban boards, a couple of mail things that I just got. So one, I just got this word count calendar from Angela. Many of you know Angela Hester, but she said, I hope you enjoy the calendar and the gift. She sent me a gift, but says I can't open it until I read my first episode of A Mirror of Shadows. So Angela's like that, that she is always thinking ahead. So this is a word count calendar. I think she's selling these now. So if so, I will put a link down below. But it's basically a cool calendar that you can hang on your wall, and you can mark down the word count for the day as well as the total so far for the month. So if you're doing something like Rough Draft Challenge, or you're working on a long-term project or anything like that, you could definitely use this. So this is pretty cool, and the paper seems really nice. I need to ask her what's the best pen, because the paper feels very smooth. It feels similar to my HB90 paper, so I think maybe this might be HP Premium 32, so gel pens would be perfect for it. And then there are some stickers, I think, in the back that you can use in a little pocket there. So thank you for that gift, Angela. I appreciate it. And then also, I just got this in the mail. So C. Ryan Crockett is a student. Anna and Ryan were students of my Publish and Thrive course, and I backed their project on Kickstarter. It always is so much fun. Like, I cannot even tell you, it almost feels as exciting for me as when I'm publishing one of my own books, when I see one of my students publishing. So they wrote this sweet note that says, Sarah, I almost can't believe it. We took your course in early 2024, and now we are sending you books in the mail. We can't thank you enough. Your course is amazing. You are amazing. Always feel empowered when we hear you teach about writing and share your experiences. We hope your son will like these books. We want young people to find their gifts and share them with the world. Thank you for sharing yours with us. You inspire us. Sincerely, Anna and Ryan. I can't even, you guys, I'm so excited for you. I did already open these, so it's not as packaged as nicely as it was when they first sent it. So the first book is called The Bestowed, A Dark Manifest by C. Ryan Crockett. They launched these books on Kickstarter, which can be such a good way. If you guys want to see some videos here on the channel about different ways to launch your books, let me know. But of course, we cover that in Publish and Thrive, which will be opening later this month. But these are middle grade young adult books, and the second book is called Touch of the Ethereal. So thank you so much for sending these. It's so much fun. I always try to back your projects on Kickstarter, support you by buying your ebooks and your books. And at this point, it's a little dark over here, but at this point I have 3 shelves full of just the paperbacks that have been sent to me from my students. And I think I have 3 in the mailbox right now that I need to go pick up, and another 2. So we're about to fill this 3rd shelf and move on to a 4th shelf. So I am so proud of all my Publish and Thrive students. You guys have done such a good job. It makes me so happy. And in Q3, I want to add another one of my own books to my shelves. So I got to get moving, because after coming out of burnout, when you just have such a hard time, like, you guys know me. If you've been around for a while, you know me, that I like to be busy. I like to have big goals. I like to have a lot on my plate. And when you are a goal setting person and you hit a point where you just can't even force yourself to get stuff done, you know you're in trouble. And that is really where I have been for this whole year. And I'm finally feeling the stirrings of that spark and that excitement again. And it's just like, oh gosh, I have so much that I want to do. And I know that I don't want to put too much on my plate, but at the same time, I'm just ready to get back to work. So first things first, I am going to take all these bright, colorful sticky notes that I have spent the last couple of days creating, and we're going to see if they fit on these boards. So let's get going on Q3 goals. Okay, another reminder. Goal number 1, reclaim my energy and creativity. Key outcomes: write, edit, and publish a Mirror of Shadows. That's like one of my big things. Create weekly, daily rest and reset routines. Prioritize my wellness. I want to try to lose 15 pounds, create impactful and fulfilling content. So instead of setting my goals where I've got like, I want to make this much money, this first goal is all about self-care, refilling my well, taking care of myself, getting that book done. So this is about the creative output. Social media also is kind of on here because it's all about the things that I'm creating, but not in a way that's draining me, the things that I'm pouring my joy and excitement into, and also pouring back into myself and refilling my well. So all of those kind of projects are on here. Now, I am using a different color code than I've ever used before. A lot of times it'll just be purple goes on goal number 1, pink goes on goal number 2, blue is goal number 3. So this time I'm really shifting it up a little bit. So all of this purple, light purple, green, social media, and this yellow one, this is all like the books I want to read, the books I want to write, the social media I want to do, my Broken Chapter Society, Notion set up for some of my personal sort of things. I've got my weight loss tracking here, some meditations I want to do, my YouTube videos I want to create. So all of that is going here on goal number 1. Goal 2 is my revenue goal. So goal 1 is trying to separate the creativity and the creation from the like outcome in a way. And I'm seeing if that will help my mental health a little bit, because maybe success in one area will automatically lead to success in another. So I have a good, better, best of how much cash I will generate. And my key revenue engines are my projects like Publish and Thrive, HB90 Q4 launch, book promos, learning Facebook ads, which is something I've never really done before, but want to experiment with, and potentially adding a new course or revenue portal. And so we'll see kind of how all that goes. So the book promo and publishing is such a big piece just in one small line. So there's a lot of things that are kind of attached to this in terms of projects, and it might be too much. So we're going to wait and see, but I have some very bright, bold colors for this. So I'm pretty excited to get these up on the board. Goal 3 is I will build an amazing team and systems. So I have mentioned this so many times before, but I have been trying so hard because I know that in order to scale my business, I've got to build my team and get support. And, just finding the right person for the team and moving forward after earlier this year has been tough. So I'm going to spend some time this quarter really getting clear on who I want to hire and what pieces I need them to take over, things like that. So this is basically all about systems and learning. And if you are familiar with Clifton Strengths and Becca Syme's work, you know how important really leaning into our strengths can be. And learning is one of mine, and it's number 3 on my list. And I really find it super helpful. And I have not been in learning mode. I've been in teaching mode. So this quarter, I am moving very much into learning mode again. And so there's a lot of stuff on here that has to do with courses that I'm taking and things I want to learn and ways I want to implement new systems. So that is all going up here for goal number 3. Okay, well, that is certainly a bright set of Kanban boards. They're usually more cohesive color-wise, like all purple, all pink, all blue. So we're going to see how I like this, but I felt like I just needed something to shake it up. I needed bright colors. I needed more colors per goal. I needed to shift my goals up. So this is all my creative tasks. And in fact, I did break things down pretty good, but I've got another way that I'm going to be implementing to break some of these things down even further. So I'll share that with you in just a minute. Then we've got all of my money-making activities, because in order to continue to be a full-time creator, I do have to also bring in income. And then my final one is all the systems and things that are going to level up my business in 2026. So lots of courses, lots of learning, lots of masterminding. This makes me feel excited. And that is when you know that your goals are right, is when you feel excited instead of overwhelmed. And I have to be honest that I don't even think I recorded a HB90 reset video for several of the quarters that we've done past, just because either I was sick and had no energy, or my goals weren't exciting me because they just all felt overwhelming, or they felt like responsibility, like pressure. But this feels like nothing but excitement and joy. And I am so excited for it. I do have a few things I can go ahead and move down the board since we are already in our second week of the quarter, but it always feels so good to know that I don't have to do every single thing on this list to be a success. I don't have to finish every single task. Even if I just finish half of them, it's a movement in the right direction. But just having that clarity of being able to say, these are my goals. This is how much money I want to make. These are the things I want to create. These are the things I want to learn, gives me so much clarity, because I can take any new course that comes up and I can say, nope, I don't have time for that right now. Or I can take any new idea that comes up and say, okay, that's going maybe on Q4, but for right now, these are the things I'm focusing on. And I don't have to get distracted by whatever anyone else is doing or what I feel like I should be doing. I don't have to add more on my plate. This should match up with my time and energy for the quarter. And if not, I will learn that, I need to put less or I need to put more on my plate. And this level of clarity really serves me. And sometimes it just takes taking a step back, thinking how you can shift it and shake it up a little bit to get excited about it again. But I'm feeling super pumped for Q3. Just briefly, I still have not done anything with this area of our house. This is the foyer area, and I need probably a big rug here. But for now, this is kind of like Andrew's pitching practice. So we have a little pitcher here on the door, and it's fine, but everything is clean, and that's what really feels good. Okay, this little nook is a little bit dark because I don't have better lighting than this one piece here, but this is one of the additional systems, and I use lots of planners. I use lots of calendars in my house because I just need these things for focus. Otherwise, I fall behind on projects. So I've got my audiobook stuff. I've been really producing a lot of audiobooks with my narrator, Kylie Stewart, who's doing an amazing job. So this is about listening through the chapters as she hands them to me. I have a section here where I'm working on Project Phoenix. So on the board in the other room, I don't have each individual book down here in terms of all the different tasks. And there's actually within each book, there's 10 or 15 tasks. But if I were to put all of that on the board, that board would not be able to hold all the tasks that I need to get done. And I have tried using various systems to break it down. I'm going to try 2 things this quarter. One is Asana. I have tried Notion before. It's not structured enough. It takes me too much time and I go down the rabbit hole. So we're going to try Asana because it's built for it. And I have set that up with my VA. So we're going to see if that'll work. But when it's time, I will start working on these and moving them over. I also am going to put my chapters for Shadow Demons 12 here, things that need to get done for Broken Chapter Society, and my episodes of A Mirror of Shadows, which that just fell on the floor, but I can move the first few over after my restart. Something else cool that I did set up recently, I found these little tiny clothespins. I've got pink ones. I think I've got some plain ones, maybe some purple ones on Amazon. Now these might tear the paint off the wall. I don't know. So I take no responsibility there, but they have little sticky stuff on the back of them. And so I set up one title one and then 12 here for the different episodes. And what I have been doing is as I write my scene cards for the book, I've been putting them here. And then when I need them, I'll grab it. So if I've got to go to a Panera or something, I'll grab scene 3. They're currently sitting on my desk, but this will be my note card so that I can see at a glance. So this has kind of replaced my plotting wall for the current book. So that is there. Inside the office, you can see I also set up some plain ones here, and these have been holding my projects for Your Path Forward. So if you've taken Your Path Forward, you would kind of understand it. I'll share it more in a different video, but I have index cards for Your Path Forward, which is my long-term planning system that I use. So if I have like basically a Your Path Forward game board for my writing, for my promotions, for my Heart Breathings channel, for my courses. So those have been going up here with note cards in order. So I'll share that in more detail in a future video. You'll have to excuse my desk is not super clean right now, but I have been using the heck out of this little guy. I did put a bunch of stickers on it, but this is the Canon Ivy like mini printer. I love it. I actually just bought like 100 new sheets, but this is the other system, and it's not going to show perfectly because it's, it's shiny. But for HardyCon, which was the in-person live event I did in New Orleans earlier this year, I put these little table stands on everybody's place, and then we created in Canva this little red to-do, doing, and done Kanban board so that everybody had a miniature Kanban board as we worked through the day. And we used little page flags to mark what your to-do list was, when things were in process and when they were done. And that was so fun. And so I just went through and created a new one in Canva that's purple. Sorry for that lighting. I know it's annoying. And I just bought some new page flags, though they're in the other room. And so the other piece of the puzzle that I'm going to try is to, when I sit down to work at my desk, I'm going to take those things. Let's say it was Project Phoenix and I was working on the Beautiful Demons box set. I told you there's like 15 tasks that go along with that. So I would sit down and decide, okay, I'm going to do 3 tasks today. Write those miniature tasks, like the tiny little to-dos, on a page flag, put them on this board for the day, and then I work my way through it instead of writing it down in my planner. And I'm going to see if that will work, because sometimes out of sight, out of mind, and I need to shake my process up a little bit to get excited again. And so sometimes it's just a matter of presenting the to-do list in a different way than what I've done before. So that's what we're going to try. And I think it can be really helpful when your work becomes visible, because when your work is just all in your mind and it's just this big tangle of here's all the things I've got to get done, it can feel really overwhelming. It can feel like it's more than it is. It can feel harder than it is, which makes us feel resistance to wanting to do it. And then we avoid it and then we judge ourselves. And it's this cycle and a spiral, right? Now, as your business scales up, you're likely going to need, like I'm coming across this, something beefier, right? So if you're sitting here and you're a 7-figure author and you've got like tons of series and lots of different like Kickstarters and other things, putting to-dos on a Kanban board might not be enough. You might need a system like Asana or Trello or Monday or something like that to work with your team and to organize all of it. But if you're really struggling to know what to get done every day, to have clarity and to feel motivated to actually follow through, then I highly recommend making your work visible in some way. A to-do list can work in just a simple notebook, but also having an actual physical, like you could use a board, like a push pin board in your house. You could use a to-do list on your app on your phone, as long as you can access it easily and you don't forget about it. If I put a list of things to do in my phone, I'm going to ignore it. But if it's on my desk and it's sitting right in front of me and it says, get that chapter written or contact this person, write that email, it's so much more likely to get done. So that's kind of some of my new systems. And for me, so much of it is always an experiment. So I will continue to share with you guys in these quarterly video updates how it's going. So I'll update you soon. Hopefully I'm going to say, man, this was my best quarter ever. Okay. New hair for this fresh start. I love this color. It's a little shorter than I wanted it to be, but you know what? It's kind of sassy. I don't know. New fresh start for the quarter. I got my nails done. I got my hair done. I have been cleaning the house top to bottom, and everything is clean in this whole house except for this room. And it's not bad. It's just the desk needs to be kind of cleaned up a little bit. I've got my workspace here is definitely in disarray. There's some stuff on the floor. I'm running out of energy because I'm like, okay, I need a little bit of a break. I'm looking forward to really just diving into the writing, but I have not really recorded a lot of the cleaning process. So I'm going to record the refresh of this room, which is my writing office. And I want to make it feel a little bit less cluttered. Like, I love these bookshelves, but there's a little bit too much stuff on them at this point. I just keep like buying more books and shoving them in. So I need to just organize it a little bit better, but I have to get this floor cleaned up. I have to kind of clean up these shelves a little bit. I am going to turn on an album. Right now, the album that is in there is Tortured Poets Department. I think this is Philodendron, and it's starting to grow into my record player because of the way the light comes in, and it's just lovely. Look at this beautiful dragonfly that somebody sent me. I think this one came from Alaska, right? Thank you so much for that. I love it. So I have Tortured Poets Department in here, so I'm just going to keep that jam rolling here for a little bit. And we are going to kind of restart it from the beginning of this album. This was my birthday present from my family earlier this year. And yeah, let's clean this room.
I keep forgetting I'm getting older, but when I realize it's too late, wanna be young again, do it over.
Okay, just one side note, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, so I'm listening to Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, which has been probably my favorite song on this album since it came out. But that set of lyrics where she says, "It's no wonder I broke, let's hear one more joke, and then we can all just laugh until I cry." It just hits me in the feels because I was that kid that was sensitive, right? And so my cousins, my sister, my parents, especially my mom and her sister Barbara, they would make fun of me when I was being too artistic or wanting to dance or saying that I wanted to be a writer, and they would make jokes at my expense. Like, remember that time Sarah thought she was going to be famous? You know, whatever. And it's no wonder I broke. Let's hear one more joke, guys. Like, this is what I love about art in general, whether it's music or books or anime or stories, movies, all of it. It's the way that we can express the ways that we've been hurt, the ways that we've reclaimed ourselves, the ways we've reclaimed our power, the way we want to feel. It's like someone else expressing the things we've only felt and we felt that we were alone in. So, side note, but I love this song. I'm going to restart it.
I know you don't owe me any favors, but if you did, it would be more time. So if you're listening, Mother Nature, can
I'm not even sure how much on camera you can see the amount of work that I did to try to like kind of reorganize and make sure this isn't, I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff because I have a lot of stuff, but I tried to sort of thin it out and reorganize it so it looks nicer. I put my books kind of back in order, and it took me legitimately 2 hours, but I was also listening to music and just kind of dancing around and having fun. But my desk is super clean and ready to go, and it feels so much better. I would like to get some kind of rug in here because it's, you know, it's just, the wood floors are beautiful, but they're not always the best on my feet. Or the sound in here, but I'm feeling really good about this. I feel like I'm ready to go all in. Like, I really struggled for the past 6 to 8 months, even a year, to just go fully after my goals. I feel like I've been holding myself back in so many ways, and I'm just finally back to energy, finally back to the excitement for my books and the future and all the big goals that I'm going after. So I'm ready truly to go all in. So I've got, my goals are set, my house is clean, my stuff is all ready to go. I am leaving for Phoenix on Wednesday. So I'm going to this mastermind where we get to strategize our careers and our future. Publish and Thrive opens on Saturday. There's so many good things ahead, and I personally am just ready to write my books, see my biggest dreams come true. I'm going to be doing some videos coming up about really going all in on your goals despite your fears, and we're going to have a little segment of videos here about facing your fear and doing it anyway, going all in despite the fear and not letting that fear hold you back anymore, because, you know, it's either fear controls you and later you have regret, or you go all in and you know you did everything that you could to make your dreams come true. And then eventually you get to live those dreams. You get to live the life that you always dreamed of. And that's what Q3 and 4 is really all about for me, is getting back to that spark, that joy, that love of writing, the love of teaching, everything that I'm passionate about, and just going all in and not being afraid anymore. Because I think that after discovering some less than positive, like downright cruel things that were said about me online a couple of years ago, I've been honestly holding myself back out of hearing those voices in my head, hearing that fear. And I think I've been afraid to just fully embrace my desires, my own energy, because I don't want to be made fun of. I don't want people to criticize. But the truth is, people are going to criticize regardless, right? People are going to have negative things to say regardless, but it's not my job to listen to the negativity and then hold myself down and stay small. It's my job to figure out how to be courageous and brave despite what anyone says, and to focus in on those of you that really love this channel, that love what I'm doing, that love my books. That's where my energy is going. And I feel like for a while I tried to force myself into that place and just had a really hard time getting over it. And I think I'm finally ready to move past it. I'm finally ready to move forward and truly go after my dreams, like with my full focus and power. So that's what's hopefully coming up next. Q3 is here, you guys. I'm so excited to spend the next few months with you here on YouTube. So if you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and let me know how your rough draft challenge is going. Hopefully I will have some rough draft challenge vlogs coming up soon. And of course, I will see you guys in my next video. I love you. Bye.